Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm really excited. I am going to be reading the most hyped romance book according to you. So this morning I posted on my Instagram and I asked you guys to tell me what you think is the most hyped romance book of 2021, and I'm gonna tally up all of the results and read whichever one you guys decided is the most hyped. And I will determine if it's worth the hype or not. So quickly, before we get into the rest of the video, this is being sponsored by Book of the Month. Book of the Month is an online book service for readers where every month they have a curated selection of 5 brand new hardcover releases. And this month they have an amazing promotion where you can get your first box for just $5, which is pretty insane. With their membership, they have an amazing skip policy where you can skip at any time and you're not charged. And they also offer a bunch of add-on books that you can add to your box every month. So here are the books that they have for December. Somebody's Daughter by Ashley C. Ford, which is a coming-of-age memoir about the complications of family and resilience of love. The Holiday Swap, which is a romance book about twins who decide to swap places for the Christmas season. Olga Dies Dreaming, which is about 2 siblings who are vying for the American dream until Hurricane Maria drags their estranged mother back into their lives. A Flicker in the Dark, which is a thriller about a girl whose father was convicted as a serial killer when she was a kid, and now 20 years later, it seems like a serial killer with a similar pattern has come back. And then lastly, A History of Wild Places, which is a magical realism book about the search for a missing woman, last seen going into an isolated forest town with a lot of secrets. They also have an add-on this month, which is John Green's book, Anthropocene Reviewed. The 2 selections from this month that sound totally up my alley are these 2. I love thrillers about serial killers, and this sounds like it could be really interesting. And then this one sounds like it kind of has cult vibes with this very isolated, mysterious town. So I'm really excited to read either of these. And like I said, they have a $5 promotion this month. So if you use the link in my description and the code JOLLY, you can get your first box for just $5. And thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. So before I open up and look at what you guys submitted, I kind of want to make predictions of some of the books that I think are going to be the most mentioned. So I'm going to take you guys over to my bookshelf and we're going to pick out some of the books that I think are the most hyped romances of the year. Okay, so starting up here, I have all of my Book of the Month romances. I think a lot of these are going to be mentioned. Definitely The Love Hypothesis, for sure. Probably The Heart Principle. This series is super popular. And then down here, People We Meet on Vacation, I also think is gonna be mentioned a lot. Emily Henry is just very popular right now. Moving along, let me see if I have any other 2021 releases up here. I think that this was a 2021 release, Twice Shy. So I feel like this one, it's possible. Definitely Act Your Age, Eve Brown. This is for sure going to be mentioned. I think It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. She's always very popular. So then moving on to indies. Oh, I guess not an indie, but Neon Gods. I feel like this one's gonna be mentioned a lot. Most of these weren't published this year. Maybe the Anna Huang books, Twisted Love and Twisted Games. I know like these are very popular, especially on TikTok. Okay, so I just tallied everything up. There were so many submissions. Before I tell you the number 1 that was mentioned, let me tell you some of the other books. Pretty much all of the books that I had just shown you off of my shelves were mentioned a lot, like I assumed that they would be. There was 20 submissions for It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, 25 submissions for Act Your Age, Eve Brown. Then The Heart Principle, there was 13 submissions. People We Meet on Vacation had 37 submissions. Then a book that I don't own, which is Spanish Love Deception, had 42 submissions. That was the most mentioned indie romance. So out of the 5 other books that were mentioned the most, including Spanish Love Deception, I've only read 2 of them. So Act Your Age, Eve Brown, and It Happened One Summer. I gave both of these 5 stars. So I definitely agree that these are not only hyped, but deservedly so. I haven't read Spanish Love Deception yet. I actually read like the first maybe 10-15% of it and I wasn't into it. So I don't know, maybe I'll give it another chance sometime in the future, but it just wasn't my thing. But then we have People We Meet on Vacation, which I haven't read, and The Heart Principle, which I have not read. I've read the other 2 books in the series and I love them. I think I gave both of them 5 stars. And I read Beach Read by Emily Henry and I gave that 5 stars. So like it makes sense to me that these are also very hyped. And then we have the winner, the book that by far had the most submissions, which had a whopping 121 submissions. Drum roll. The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Not surprising at all. I really felt like this was gonna be the one. I feel like if there's one romance book that I just see so much about this year, it is The Love Hypothesis. And I'm really excited to read this. So all I know about this basically is that it was a Reylo fan fiction. It says, when a fake relationship between scientists meets an irresistible force of attraction, it throws one woman's carefully calculated theories on love into chaos. I'm really excited. I was sort of hesitant when it first came out. I was waiting to see reviews of it, but pretty much everybody who I've seen read this has loved it, so I'm really excited. So I'm just gonna spend, I think, today and tomorrow reading this, and then I will determine if I think that this deserves to be the most hyped romance of 2021. Okay, so I'm like 30 pages into this now and I am really enjoying it. The setup is super cute. Basically, it's about these 2 scientists who work together. The main character, Olive, is a PhD student. And then Adam is like one of the doctors like in charge of the PhD program. He is known across campus as being an asshole, basically. Grumpy and like mean and very hard on everybody. He like makes his graduates cry. Literally, chapter 1 starts with her kissing him in the hallway because she had lied to her best friend and said that she is dating somebody so that her best friend would feel okay with dating her ex-boyfriend. So she lied to her friend and said that she was on a date with somebody that night, and then she's in the hallway and she sees her friend there. And obviously her friend is gonna know that she lied and wasn't on a date. So she kisses the first guy that she sees, who happens to be Adam, this really grumpy guy. And she convinces him to fake date her as like a cover. My favorite thing about this whole setup is that usually with like fake dating situations, there's something in it for both people, whether they're like, they both need to fake date to save face with something, or one of them agrees to fake date in exchange for a favor. There's usually like some sort of like mutual benefit, but I feel like in this book, she really needs him to fake date her, and he's just kind of like, okay. Like there's no real reason why he's agreed to do this, other than I'm assuming he's desperately in love with her, but I just think that's really cute, and I almost like that better than other fake dating scenarios, and it's so cute. I love it, and it's totally like grumpy sunshine. I don't know, I'm just really into it so far. I am now like 120 pages into this. I am still really enjoying it, and I'm loving the conversations around Olive's relationship with sex. It hasn't been said specifically the label on page of demisexual, but that's how I'm reading her, because she talks about how she's always felt like she was somewhere on the ace spectrum. She thought she never really liked sex, but only recently has she sort of realized that she does enjoy sex, but only when it's with somebody who she has like a deeper emotional bond with. So I'm reading her as demisexual. I don't know if that is specifically stated, but I'm just really enjoying that aspect of her character. I'm also really liking all of the like interdepartment politics with all of these like PhD students and like politicking for different research grants and stuff. It's very interesting. I feel like that's an element of the book going into it I didn't expect to like I was here for the romance, not necessarily the science department plot, but I'm actually really enjoying that. I will say one thing that is not my favorite is, since this was a Star Wars fan fiction, and I'm a big Star Wars fan, I even like the Reylo relationship, but I feel like the characters in this book are just so close to their Star Wars counterparts that every time a new character is introduced, the first thing that I'm thinking is, okay, but who is this in Star Wars? Like that's all I can think right away, and it's hard to sort of separate Star Wars from the story. And that's not necessarily a fault just of this book. I feel that way with most romance books that were originally fan fiction. I find it really, really hard to like separate it into its own story. Like I think most of the Twilight fan fictions that have been adapted into their own book, I felt that way, except I will say I did read one Twilight fan fiction. There's one that I read like 5 times, and it's one of my favorite romance books, and I didn't know until recently that it was Twilight fan fiction, and when I found out, my mind was blown. It's Transcendence by Shea Savage, which this is a time travel caveman romance. Doesn't scream Twilight at all, and like I said, I read it like 5 times, and at no point in any of my 5 readings did I connect the dots that it is Twilight fan fiction until someone mentioned it, and then a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, oh, the main characters are literally named Ed and Bay. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's definitely a way to adapt your fan fiction and have it exist as its own thing without the source material, and I think that Transcendence did a really good job at that. And then there's other ones that I just cannot see existing without the source material, and that's kind of how I'm feeling about this. I just wish that the characters were changed a little bit more, but like, it's not making me enjoy it any less. It's just something that I'm just constantly thinking about while I'm reading it. So I just read the quote, "Carry yourself with the confidence of a mediocre white man." And I just want to say, that is fantastic advice. And I think that I've been doing that recently. This past year, I made a promise to myself that I would get better at business emails. Because business emails are my downfall. I stress over them so much. So earlier in the year, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start emailing people as if I'm a man. And let me tell you, it improved my life so much. So yes, carry yourself with the confidence of a mediocre white man. I am on my way to lunch, but before I go, just wanted to say, this book is so cute. I keep catching myself smiling, and I'm annoyed about it. I'm annoyed at how cute this is. I'm still really enjoying this book, but I just read a sex scene. The first sex scene, I don't know if it's gonna be the only one, and it was bad, y'all. It was bad. Okay. I'm cringing so hard at this. He fit her entire boob in his mouth. Huh? I'm sitting here I'm overthinking it. I must be overthinking it. I'm trying to think of the logistics of that, like why? Let me give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she just has really small boobs, and that's fine. But I'm still like, what does that mean? What does it mean? And it used the word entire. I think if it hadn't used the word entire, I wouldn't be overthinking this, because then I'm like, okay, he's just like sucking on it a little bit, right? But it said the word entire. I'm just picturing him like unhinging his jaw and like swallowing her whole. Like, what is it? What does it mean? I'm only 2 pages later and I'm kind of cringing again. We're still on the sex scene. But basically, she has talked about how she's never given a blowjob before, and she's nervous about it. And they also talk a lot about how he has a very large thing. And then 2 sentences later, she's like fully deep throating him. Huh? Like, girl, you don't gotta warm up at all. I'm not sold on this sex scene. It's just not good. It's not good. I'm kind of judging anyone who called this steamy, because like, just because something has sex in it does not mean the sex was written well. And I'm not finding this steamy at all. I'm cringing. I don't know, we're gonna see how the rest goes. I'm kind of hoping this was the only sex scene. Oh my God, words you've never heard me say. But I'm kind of hoping, because the romance is so good, but the sex was not it. Oh. Okay, that's better. I finished The Love Hypothesis, and I enjoyed this so much more than I thought I was going to. This was so ridiculously cute. Like I said, I literally caught myself embarrassingly grinning at this book so many times. I think that the romance in this book was top notch. It was fantastic. I really bought the chemistry between the two of them. I loved that Adam basically fell for her first and like was head over heels for her, and she had no idea. I just love that trope. I loved the grumpy sunshine vibes. I think that this was a very promising debut, because this is Ali Hazelwood's first book, so that's pretty impressive for a debut. I think that I'm gonna land on giving this 4.5 stars instead of 5. Like I mentioned throughout this video, there were just like minor things that I didn't love. Obviously, I did not like the sex scene. I did not think it was written well. And the Star Wars comparison was just a little bit too much for me. But honestly, I feel like those are just more like nitpicky things. Overall, this was really great. And I am definitely excited to read more from Ali Hazelwood. I would love to see her improve on the sex scenes, but the romance is there. Like, she can write romance. So, do I think that this deserves to be the most hyped romance of 2021? Honestly, I do. It's not my personal favorite, but I can see why this has a lot of mass appeal to it. I'm not mad that this is the most hyped. There are definitely other books that I think deserve to be just as hyped as this one, but I think that this is adequately hyped. So, you guys did a really good job at which book you told me to read. Okay, the Goodreads Choice Award nominees were just announced. So I'm going to give you guys my live reaction of the romance category. So I already told you guys like my predictions. All the books that I've already talked about, I'm sure are going to be on there. Definitely The Love Hypothesis. Definitely, well, do I think Spanish Love Deception is going to be on there? Because it is indie self-published. And I have a feeling that it's gonna be just a sea of Berkeley and Avon romances. I feel like there's a chance that one of Jennifer L. Armentrout's fantasy romances could show up on there. I'm not sure what was her 2021 release in that From Blood and Ash series or the spin-off series. I know nothing about those books, but there's a chance one of those could be on. But for the most part, I think it's gonna be, like my prediction before I open this, I think it's gonna be traditionally published contemporary romances, all with illustrated covers. I don't think there's gonna be one not illustrated cover, but let's open it and find out. All right, the romance category. I'm like nervous to click on this because I just know it's gonna make me upset. Okay. So exactly what I said it was gonna be. Awesome. Just like glancing at these, I have not read a lot of them. This is kind of the area of romance that I don't read a lot of. I haven't read any of these, How to Fail at Flirting, The Dating Plan, or While We Were Dating. But I did read It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, and it's 5 stars. I love this book. This might get my vote, but let me see what else there is. Okay, X-Talk I didn't read. One Last Stop I didn't read. The X-Hex I didn't read. Shipped I didn't read. 7 Days in June. Is this a romance book? Is this a romance book? Oh my god, wait a minute. People in the reviews are saying it's romance. Why did I not know that this was a romance book? I've seen this cover around a lot, and like this cover gives me not romance vibes. So I always just kind of ignored it. It's a romance about 2 writers and their second chance at love. This sounds really good. Hold on. Talia Hibbert's review of it. Well, first of all, Talia Hibbert gave this book 5 stars. But she says that the heroine has chronic migraines. And the author also has chronic migraines, its own voices. For y'all who don't know, I have chronic migraines. And I have literally never been able to find a book that has chronic migraine rep. How have I not heard of this book? Okay, this literally sounds amazing. I'm buying this right now. Okay, let me get back to the other nominees, but like just by looking at all of these, this book 7 Days in June looks like the outlier, and I really want to read it now. Continuing through, I haven't read Life's Too Short. I did not read The Soulmate Equation. I'm done with Christina Lauren, but all their releases are gonna end up on this list. Didn't read The Road Trip, didn't read Second First Impressions. The Love Hypothesis, obviously I just read that. Spanish Love Deception, Charm Offensive, haven't read either of those. I did read People We Meet on Vacation. I did read Neon Gods, really liked that. I'm very excited for Katie Robert to be on the list. I don't know if she has been nominated before. From my memory, I can't remember that she has. Actor Eve Beach Brown, loved that. I think that every Brown Sisters book was a nominee. And then I haven't read The Heart Principle. So by that calculation, I've only read 4, only 4. Only one of these books is indie published. And just by like a quick little glance, I'm pretty sure that all these books come from one of 3 publishing houses. So a little suspicious. I don't know which one I'm gonna vote for. I think I'm not gonna vote for The Love Hypothesis because out of the 4, I gave 3 of them 5 stars, and I gave The Love Hypothesis 4.5 stars. So that one's immediately kicked off, even though I'm like pretty sure that The Love Hypothesis is gonna win overall. So between Neon Gods, Actor Age Eve Brown, and It Happened One Summer. See, I feel like I want to give it to either Katie Robert or Talia Hibbert because they've been my two favorite romance authors for years. And like, I just feel like I need to support them. However, It Happened One Summer is like one of my favorite romances that I've read in a long time. My vote's not even gonna matter because I know none of those are gonna win. I think I'm voting for It Happened One Summer. Even though like I really want to support Katie or Talia, I gotta go with what was my favorite, and It Happened One Summer. However, wait a minute, I'm just now realizing, did they get rid of write-ins? They did, because every year I write something in. Oh my god, they got rid of write-ins. So it's just all a scam. They're not even pretending anymore. My vote was It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. Let me know what you guys voted for. I am very curious. And I'm also now really excited to read 7 Days in June. I just ordered a copy, so whenever I get that, I will read it. And let me know if you want me to do some sort of reading vlog on it, since it is a book with chronic migraine rep. So before I close out this video, I want to let you guys know about the Swoon Awards, which is an alternate to the Goodreads Choice Awards for romance, and nominations are going to be open until January 7th, so I will leave a link down below so you can go and nominate all of your favorite romance books from this year. I went through all the categories and nominated all of the ones that I really loved, all of the ones that I think should have been nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards. And I love this awards. I think this is the second year that they're doing it, and I think it's a really great alternative for the romance genre and really honoring all of the best books, not just necessarily the ones that are the most popular. And it's a really great way to recognize indie romances as well. So like I said, I'll leave a link to that below. Nominations are going to be open until January 7th. And then I think the winners are going to be announced sometime like mid-January. I'll be excited to see the winners for those awards. And yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!